Today's video, what we're going to do, we're going to be stripping this roof, which has your normal delamination of the clear coat. We're just going to go ahead and strip it instead of sanding it, since there's still probably about 80% of the clear on there. So I am going to show you some ins and outs and tips and tricks of how I personally strip panels. I get it done fast and efficient. I'm going to show you how to do it. I've already did this deck lid. I did this yesterday. I also primed it. Took me about 15 minutes to strip this and get it ready for prime, and then about 15 more minutes, maybe 20 minutes to get it in primer. So I got the roof all prepped to strip. I will show you some tips on what I do to get it ready to strip. So that'll also help you out. You can apply this pretty much to any motorcycle parts, any panels on a car, as long as they're metal. If they're plastic, this does not apply. So you should have, or you must have, a variable speed buffer in order to do this. So, and if you plan on stripping panels on a car, obviously you plan on painting it, and then at the end of the project, that variable speed buffer will come in handy, so you can also wet sand and buff it to make a nicer paint job for you. So I'm going to be putting on my GoPro. I'm going to be pulling out this car soon. Putting on the GoPro. I appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up. So coming soon. Stay tuned. Before I do, I wanted to go over some of the products I use to do this in pretty much any panel. This is my variable speed buffer stripper. So it's pretty much a retired buffer, and I solely use it as a stripper now. The pad that I have on here is Disket 8052. So I believe these run about $30. So they're a little costly. They last quite a while. Eventually this will disintegrate on you, but for the most part it's a very good pad, nice and soft edges. 8-inch, of course it requires sticky paper and 8-inch paper. So I figure two 40 grit 8-inch pieces of paper should do this roof. We have two 80 grit 8-inch pieces of paper, and then we'll finish off with 80 grit DA 6-inch. I'll use my DA. This is an aggressive throw DA, which means it's pretty aggressive. It's my favorite go-to DA. It's a Dynabraid. You should wear a particle mask. For sake of this video, I will not be wearing a particle mask. It is a little bit breezy out here, so that helps, but be sure and wear these. They're cheap and they're good for you. It catch up to you if you don't do this. If you do a lot of painting or sanding, body work, you definitely want to get one of those, or get a box of them, in fact. So here's the roof again. So I want to go over a couple things. First thing, as you can see, I've already outlined where the glass is with duct tape. That's Gorilla Tape. You want to use a nice, good, thick duct tape to protect the glass. You don't want to be buying the customer's windshield or rear glass. So I've also done the front glass. Now sometimes there is a lip or a gasket that goes on the windshield, so we'll stay away from that. I also tape that up if there is one. As you can see, I got the sunroof cracked open just a little bit. I still put some duct tape on there, so that'll help prevent also gouging up that glass too. So you're good for one shot. You know, so if you hit it, it may go through. So you got to be very, very careful with that. So if you don't have duct tape, what you can use is 1.5 inch masking tape. That's fine, usually triple layered at least. Again, that's good for one shot. So I'll put on the GoPro and we'll dig in here. I figured 20 minutes to a half hour I'll have this stripped, and then we'll probably prime it later. Okay, it is 1:15. We're gonna go ahead and get rolling here. One thing I failed to mention, a good idea to have a ladder. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Okay, as you can see, I like getting about 80% of it with the 40 grit. And then we finish it off with the 80 grit. You want to move nice and slow. Keep the buffer or grinder fairly low. Not completely flat though. Okay, what we're gonna do, we'll switch to a new piece. Make sure you don't let these things fly around, because you step on them and you're going downtown. Or better yet, or worse yet, you don't want a customer stepping on it. Okay, we'll do the other side here. Now you want to be very careful around these windows and sunroof. just making one easy pass right across here and try to get as much as I can. Okay, we're gonna grab a piece of 80 grit. Swap that out real quick. One thing to keep in mind, some cars are aluminum. If it is aluminum and you're stripping these, you want to be extremely careful. It will warp very easy. So even some of the newer steel cars, they're very thin. You gotta be careful. You at least want to get all the blue off and most of the primer with the 80. Now if this had this lip that hung over the paint, like I talked about previously, I probably would have just left it to maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches back here, and we'd feather it in with the DA. With this, I can pretty much get, there's a gap right there. So I can pretty much take the rest of this off with the DA. I don't want to be doing it with the big wheel here. Okay, switch to the other side. See, this makes a mess. Make sure you wear that particle mask. Especially some of these cars have 2, 3, 4 paint jobs. Nasty paint. There was a little rust issue right there. We'll get that with the DA. Finish it off. Okay, we'll grab the DA 80 grit. Now hose, gotta go inside to grab this. There's the hood for it. Okay, we'll finish her off with the DA. what I try to do when I have a fresh piece of paper on here, I get the hard to get spots first, and then I go to the easy spots like this. This way it really digs it out. That's a good tip for you. Fresh piece, get the hard to do spots first. Again, if you can't use duct tape on the windows, triple layer some 1.5 inches. That should get you by. Still gotta be careful though. We're gonna 2K prime this probably later on today. There's our first piece. What I'll do, I'll go ahead and do the edge by the window, a hard to get place, so it takes it right off, and plus I'll feather this area around here. And when I 2K prime this, I gotta make sure I come back and block this area out. Surface rust there, took care of that. The wider you get these layers right here, the better off you are on your feathering. Okay, we'll switch to the other side here. Get this area back here. Make sure at least you get all the color off. Of course, obviously around here I can't, so we're gonna feather it real good. 2K prime, a little blocking. Doing this with 80 grit DA also gets rid of any 40 grit big wheel scratches that you miss. No body work under the paint, so that's good. You gotta watch body work. If there's body work underneath the paint, you might want to take off the paint, but stop with the body work. If it's in bad shape, of course, you'll have to dig all that out and redo it. unless if it's just little dings or something. But if you got a lot of body work, which I've ran into before, man, sometimes you got to rework it, and it's a real pain. You got to call the customer back up and say, hey, there was unforeseen body work under here. Have to charge you a little more. All we gotta do is mask it, prime it. Let's get this little bit here. Okay, I told you 20 minutes, half hour. Let's see. It is almost 20 till, so what? It took us not even 20 minutes to do that. So 25 minutes, so tops. 23 minutes actually. So we got this all ready. We're gonna blow it off real good. You gotta make sure you blow this out real good. I told the customer we need to remove these. I noticed there was a lot of crap underneath there. These will bite you in the butt when you're painting. So, and sure enough, when he took these off, these roof rails, not only were the clips gone, but there was a ton of leaves and crap underneath there. So make sure when you blow these off, you can't take these off, to blow this area off real good. Nobody ever cleans underneath there. Blow the track of the sunroof out. So we're gonna blow this out real good. We're gonna leave it open throughout the whole process. We're gonna prime with it cracked open. We're also gonna paint with it cracked open. We wanna make sure we get this edge good. So I think it's pretty much ready. So we're gonna mask it and prime it later on. And this is all I'm gonna do with this video, because obviously all we're gonna do is 2K prime it, and you guys should know how to do that. So this was a quick way of stripping. I've seen some guys use just the DA, and it looks like just a bunch of, you got paint, metal, and it's just, there's no way it's ever gonna be straight. Just get it down the metal, you got a nice surface, 2K prime it, just DA it. You might do a little blocking, and you should be good to go. Thumbs up for this video, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching. Any questions down below? I got some links to products that I used. I get a little commission if I sell any, so I appreciate you clicking on them, read the reviews, and purchase if needed. So thanks for watching.